Stop. Unclench your jaw. Now place one hand on the center of your chest. Feel the subtle vibration beneath your palm. That hum you feel isn't just your heartbeat. It's a resonance, a signal that has been trying to get your attention for a very long time. It's the feeling of a home you don't consciously remember, but that your body has never forgotten. You have been operating on the level of trying to fix, manage, or understand your symptoms, the anxiety, the displacement, the strange physical sensations, as if they are personal problems or psychological quirks. But the issue is not on the level of your psychology. It is on the level of your cosmic biology. These are not symptoms of a breakdown. They are the pre-boot sequence of a dormant system. You feel it as a silent anxiety, a sense of being an outsider in your own life, a persistent feeling of waiting for something you can't name. This is the profound dissonance of a high-frequency being living in a low-frequency container that is starting to recalibrate. It's the hum of an engine that has been dormant for lifetimes and is now finally beginning to turn over. In our time together today, you will come to understand the precise nature of this activation signal. You will learn to recognize the dormant biological blueprint it is awakening within you, and you will receive a map for the next 7 days, not as a warning of chaos, but as a guide to grace, allowing you to consciously cooperate with this sacred biological process. Have you felt that strange dissonance lately? The feeling of that hum under the surface, the sense that you're running on a slightly different time signature than everyone else, as if you're hearing a song that no one else can hear. And what if that feeling isn't a sign that you're out of sync, but a sign that you are starting to tune in to a much older, deeper frequency? You've probably noticed that something is trying to get your attention, preventing you from just settling, as if a quiet but persistent alarm has been set and it's finally going off. But what if that feeling you've been calling anxiety or fatigue is just the vibration of your own dormant systems coming online, the initial reflection of a profound biological event that you haven't yet identified? Now think with me. What if the strange sleep patterns, the heightened sensitivity, the quiet but persistent feeling of not quite belonging, were not random symptoms to be managed? What if they were sequenced, coherent signals from your own DNA, attempting to deliver a message you weren't yet equipped to receive? What if every moment of strange déjà vu, every inexplicable wave of emotion, every time you looked at the stars and felt a pang of homesickness, was all pointing towards a hidden capacity within you that is scheduled to come online right now, and you just lacked the key to understand the message? It was in seeking answers to this that I recommend to you this digital book called The 11 Arcturian Secrets Behind the Frequency of Success. This book is not just a reading. It is a material created for those who wish to understand the invisible mechanisms that influence results, prosperity, personal fulfillment, and growth. Inside its pages, you will discover the codes that differentiate the background static from the true signal of your purpose. You will understand how to transform what feels like a system failure into the greatest system upgrade of your life. You will finally see why some souls seem to repeat the same painful cycles, while others suddenly break through into a completely new reality. Many people already feel they need to change something in the way they think, act and direct their choices, but they still haven't made the decision to access this knowledge. Download it right now. It's available in the first pinned comment, but be warned, few copies remain available. This isn't about finding another label for yourself. It is about accessing a user manual you didn't know you had, just as this critical 7-day activation window opens. Don't spend another week feeling like you're listening to static and calling it your life. Click now, download your copy, and discover why the clarity of your true activation is much closer than you can imagine. And on this exact subject, the low hum of an appliance late at night, suddenly sounding like an intelligent signal. Looking at your own hands on the steering wheel and feeling they are not quite yours. Smelling ozone in a closed room just before a wave of nostalgia for a place you've never been. There is a crucial distinction between the true signal and a mere echo, a 3-minute key that unlocks your ability to tell them apart, especially during the very next time you feel that glitch in reality. Tuck it away in the depth of your awareness. And beyond our digital guide, Soul, you have here another way to strengthen this message that arrived for you today. and to make it reach more and more souls like you. We don't receive a single cent for each word I deliver to you every day on this channel. As a way for you to give back something of what you receive here, we also keep a voluntary donation link open, right below the digital book in the first pinned comment. Any amount that fits in your hand today, any sum your heart points to, this is what keeps our channel standing. This is what makes the next message reach another soul who needs it, exactly the way you needed it today. I'll see you there, soul. And if you need to leave before the end of this video, that distinction between the activation signal and the static generated by the spiritual adversaries, that key is already waiting for you in the digital book in the first pinned comment. But stay, because the name of what is happening to you has not yet been spoken. The name for what is happening to you is not a diagnosis. It is a recognition, a memory being read from your own cellular structure. It is not something you are developing. It is something you are remembering. These are not new symptoms you are acquiring. They are data points from a coherent, intelligent system that is already active within you. And I am simply here to provide the translation key. The first sign is what the Arcturians call the temporal echo. You wake suddenly, not with a jolt, but with a serene sense of alertness. The clock reads 3:33 a.m. or perhaps 4:44 a.m. There is no anxiety. You lie in the profound silence of the pre-dawn, perfectly awake, with the distinct feeling that you are online, waiting for a set of instructions or a data packet to download into your consciousness. It's not insomnia, it is an appointment. The second is sensory bleed-through. You are in a mundane public space, a grocery store, a shopping mall. Suddenly, for a brief moment, the background noise of chatter, of humming refrigerators, of beeping scanners, becomes almost deafening. It isn't just loud, it feels like you are momentarily decoding the emotional content of it all. You feel the collective anxiety, the boredom, the fleeting joys of everyone around you, as a physical pressure building in your own chest, a wave of incoherent data that makes you want to turn and leave immediately. The third sign is the one that touches the deepest part of your heart. It is called ispati, the guardian's gaze. You are watching a loved one. Perhaps it is your child, sleeping peacefully in the dim glow of a nightlight. You are flooded with a wave of unconditional, fiercely protective love that is so immense it feels ancient. And right in the center of that love, a second, simultaneous awareness lands with peaceful, absolute certainty. You are from somewhere else entirely. You are their guardian, their emissary, but not their kin in the same way. It is a moment of profound love and profound alienation all at once. And about that very moment, watching your child sleep and feeling like their guardian from another world, if you recognize that feeling, the instruction manual for that specific feeling is waiting for you in the first pinned comment. You'll know what to do. The fourth sign is more subtle, a flicker in your physical reality. It is a degravitational flux. You're standing still, perhaps waiting for the kettle to boil or for a traffic light to change. For a split second you feel inexplicably lighter, as if the Earth's gravity has momentarily loosened its grip on you. Or perhaps you feel suddenly heavier, rooted to the spot. It passes as quickly as it arrives, leaving you with a dizzying sense of disorientation, questioning your own balance. The fifth sign is one of the most intimate and perhaps frustrating of them all. Phantom linguistics. You are trying to describe a deep, complex, nuanced feeling, a specific flavor of nostalgia, a particular quality of insight, and you have the distinct sensation that the perfect word for it is right on the tip of your tongue. But it's not a word in any language you know. You can almost feel its shape, its resonance. It is the ache of a language glitch, a deep homesickness for a vocabulary that your soul remembers, but your mouth has forgotten how to speak. If you recognized yourself in even 3 of these 5 signs, then it is not by accident that you are here. The Council, the universe, and your own consciousness have already conspired to bring you to this exact transmission at this exact moment, because the recognition of the symptoms is the first step. Understanding the system behind them is the next. Type 333 in the comments below. In the system of the Council, 333 is the signature of Trinitarian alignment, the sacred balance of mind, body, and spirit, coming into coherence with a higher truth. Your comment is not a platform interaction, it is a location marker in the field. Before I show you the map of the 7-day gateway that will unlock your resonant shell, there is a classification in the Arcturian archives, a specific designation, for a soul who is on the cusp of activation, but is being bombarded by the static of what you have been misinterpreting as your own psychological failure. It defines exactly the state you might be in right now, and it is the key to understanding why this is happening to you now. This isn't a random sequence of feelings happening to you. It's a coherent, timed, and structured activation. The window for this moment you are passing through has been seen. The reason you are feeling this intensity now is that you have arrived at the threshold without the instruction manual. Because between feeling the call and understanding the answer, there is a gap that the spiritual adversaries know better than you do. And they fill that space with static, with confusion, with the feeling of personal failure, not because the wisdom was denied to you, but because it arrived the very next time you feel that glitch in reality, and what was missing was the cipher to decode the signal. And I tell you this because I have seen it happen. I have seen a soul standing exactly where you are, feeling their hands on the steering wheel of their car, and having that split-second feeling that they are not entirely their own. I have seen the static of confusion become the clarity of a coherent signal. I have seen the feeling of being an outsider become the anchoring certainty of a guardian. I have seen the low hum of anxiety become the resonant frequency of a home you are finally remembering. And I have seen it because the spiritual adversaries have only one tactic: to convince you that a biological upgrade is a psychological breakdown. They weaponize the frequency of doubt, and they amplify it until you believe the noise is your own voice. And you already know this. You just hadn't given it a name yet. Perhaps you have felt it, the silent pain of feeling like an observer in your own life, loving the people in it deeply, but always with the sense of being behind a thin, invisible veil, a guardian watching over a world you are not entirely a part of. Or the deep, persistent ache of knowing you have a profound purpose, a mission that vibrates in your very bones, but being utterly unable to access the instructions or remember what it is, leaving you with a sense of cosmic urgency and no direction. And the exhaustion, the profound exhaustion of feeling invisibly held back, like a powerful engine that is perpetually stuck in neutral, humming with potential, burning fuel, but going absolutely nowhere. That feeling, that engine humming in neutral. As you feel it now, just gently press your thumb against your index finger. Not hard, just enough to feel the contact. This is a micro-commitment, a physical declaration that you are no longer willing to mistake the feeling of activation for the feeling of failure. It was in search of this exact answer that I came to this digital book called The 11 Arcturian Secrets Behind the Frequency of Success. This is not a book to be read. It is an activation key. Its purpose is to give you in these next 7 days the precise framework to cooperate with the biological upgrade you are already undergoing. It doesn't offer theories, it offers mechanisms. It doesn't give you beliefs, it gives you the operating signals your own dormant system is programmed to respond to. Touch the link now, secure your copy, and then come back and leave a comment below with a single word: activated. Because the moment you make the choice, the frequency of doubt no longer has a place to land. It has no power to stop what the Council, the universe, and your own consciousness have already started in you. Whoever listens for the signal beneath the noise finds their true home in the space between breaths. The digital book that is in the first pinned comment was built on this very architecture. It doesn't just explain the signals, it calibrates you to them. It is the map to your dormant blueprint. It is the user manual for your resonant shell. It's the key that turns in the lock you didn't even know was there. This material does not teach you to seek the light. It teaches you to recognize that you are the source of it. And the price of this key is less than a Thursday lunch you eat on autopilot, wondering if this is all there is. It is less than a Friday night movie you watch to escape the feeling that your real life is happening somewhere else. It is less than a Saturday morning coffee that gives you a temporary jolt of energy, but no lasting clarity on who you really are. This hesitation you might be feeling has a name. It's the fear that if you look too closely, you'll find out you really are broken, instead of realizing you are just beginning to activate. And for the next 12 months, this is the only time this particular transmission will be made available, not because it is worth less, because its value is timed to this exact 7-day window, and it has a 7-day guarantee. If you open it, read it, and it does not resonate, just send an email and you will receive a full refund. No questions, no process, no judgment. The risk is zero, but the cost of missing the signal is immense, especially when what is at stake is the next time you feel that glitch in reality. The choice is yours. The hand is extended. Just yesterday, a soul just like you, a mother of 2 in her early 40s, opened this digital book. She wrote to me at 3 a.m. She had just been watching her son sleep and was hit by that immense, loving yet alienating feeling of the guardian's gaze. She said for the first time in her life, she didn't feel crazy, she felt seen. She didn't feel like she was losing her mind. She felt like she was remembering her mission. Another, a young artist in his late 20s, told me that reading the chapter on phantom linguistics felt like coming home. He said he finally understood that the frustration of not finding the right words wasn't a limitation of his intellect, but the memory of a language his cells already knew. He was trying to describe the color of a frequency, not the color of a paint. A man in his 50s wrote that after years of feeling dizzy spells his doctors couldn't explain, the gravitational flux, he understood he wasn't sick. His body was simply recalibrating its relationship to the planet's energy field. It wasn't a bug. It was a feature of his own awakening. Maybe you only saw yourself in the mother's late-night revelation. Maybe you felt the artist's linguistic ache. Or maybe you saw your own story in all three. The 11 Arcturian secrets isn't for them. It is for you. And your family doesn't notice it either. And your children don't notice it either. And the invisible signal scrambler continues to arrive, whispering that it is all just stress. And before the next word that is meant for you arrives, a brief but important pause. As I told you earlier, this channel is and will remain a free resource, a beacon for all who are awakening. But creating these transmissions requires significant energy and resources. If you feel a calling in your soul to support this work, to help keep this signal strong and reaching others, there is a link in the first pinned comment right below the digital book, where you can make a voluntary donation. Every gesture of support is received with immense gratitude and is reinvested directly into expanding this mission. It is never required, but always deeply appreciated. I will see you there. Again, soul, this book is the key. But it's not the only one. There is one more layer to this transmission, one that we must approach with immense care. I have told you what is happening, but I have not yet told you what you are becoming. It is a word from the ancestral archives, so stay with me. You have been working on the level of managing the symptoms. You have tried to ground the gravitational flux, rationalize the guardian's gaze, silence the temporal echo. You have been treating these as separate, unrelated glitches in your personal operating system. But the issue is not on the level of the individual files, it is on the level of the central processor. The glitches are not errors. They are the coherent output of a new program that has just been launched, one whose language you do not yet speak. The core revelation, the word from the archives, is this: the resonant shell. This is not your aura. It is not your energy field in the way you have been taught. It is a dormant, biological etheric layer of your very DNA, a crystalline hard drive that has been encoded for lifetimes with the complete blueprint of your true cosmic origin and your terrestrial mission. For eons, this shell has remained inactive, waiting for a single specific cosmic key. The urgent warning of the next 7 days is not a metaphor. It is a time-sensitive, biological event. A galactic alignment, which occurs only once in this epoch, is right now sending a targeted beam of light frequency through this solar system. This frequency is the precise resonant key that unlocks and activates the resonant shell at a quantum level. This activation is not passive. It asks for your conscious participation. It requires 3 micro-commitments from you, right now, in this 7-day gateway. First, acknowledge. Consciously accept that the symptoms are not random. They are coherent signals from your awakening shell. Second, receive. Instead of bracing against the strange feelings, consciously relax into them. See them as data packets, not as threats to your stability. And third, listen. Stop trying to fix the feeling and start asking it, quietly, what it is trying to show you. The spiritual adversaries who create the static of doubt cannot replicate this activation frequency. They are masters of noise, not music. They can generate fear, confusion, and dismissal, but they cannot fake the precise energetic signature of your home world. That signature is what your resonant shell is biologically programmed to respond to, and nothing else. They cannot block the signal. They can only convince you to change the channel before the message is fully received. Imagine your entire being is a vast, ancient library. For your whole life, you have been living in the brightly lit foyer, reading only the books left out on the tables, believing this small room was the entire building. The activation of the resonant shell is the sound of 1,000 locked doors swinging open at once, revealing corridors and halls filled with knowledge that is yours, that has always been yours. The spiritual adversaries are merely the loud conversation in the foyer, designed to distract you, so you never hear the sound of the locks turning. I'm going to tell you about a soul. I'll call her M, not because it was her name, but because it's the designation we use for a threshold walker. M arrived at the exact same juncture you are at now. She felt the constant low-grade hum of an engine starting within her, the profound sense of displacement in familiar places, the exhaustion that no amount of sleep could touch. Her first instinct, like yours, was to pathologize it. She sought explanations in medicine, psychology, and productivity hacks. She tried to silence the hum with more work, more distraction, more noise. She believed that if she could just organize her outer world perfectly, the strange dissonance in her inner world would disappear. But it only grew louder. The signal demanded to be heard. Her journey through the threshold was a silent one, navigated alone in the dark hours before dawn. The breakthrough came when she stopped fighting the symptoms and started cataloging them as data. She realized the anxiety was a frequency recalibration. The fatigue was her system reallocating energy to a massive internal upgrade. She wasn't breaking down, she was being rebuilt from the inside out. She recognized that this process was not random chaos. It was an intelligent, structured activation. But it required a new language, a new set of instructions to navigate it consciously. She understood that without a practical framework, a cipher to decode the signals, the activation could feel like a descent into madness. She needed practical, applicable wisdom. In her profound clarity, M made a choice not to simply ascend or disappear into her newfound awareness. She chose to be a cartographer. She meticulously documented the path, the pitfalls, the precise steps and understandings required to stabilize, integrate, and then utilize the activated frequency in the physical world. She created a map for those who would follow. M did not take this wisdom into silence. She left it recorded with precision. And it is this exact wisdom, this practical map for the Starseed activation you are experiencing right now, that is the foundation of the digital book you will find in the first comment pinned below. But M's map is only one part of this transmission. The truth of what it unlocks in you goes deeper still. This wisdom M left behind is not an abstract philosophy. It is a biological instruction set. It lives not in the mind, but in the body. It is the reason for the hum you feel beneath your palm, the reason for the temporal echo that wakes you at 4 a.m., the reason you feel the gravitational flux while waiting for the kettle to boil. Her map does not lead you out of your life. It leads you deeper into your own body, revealing that the strange feelings you've tried to manage are not problems, but the very territory of your homecoming. To navigate this territory, you must first recognize the parts of you that are coming online. These are not personality traits. They are archetypal functions of your resonant shell, dormant aspects of your cosmic biology now being activated. The first of these is the emissary. This is the part of you that feels the guardian's gaze. It is the ancient, loving awareness that looks through your eyes at your child, your parent, your friend, and knows with a peaceful certainty that you are here as a guardian, a protector, an anchor of a higher frequency for their sake. It is the keeper of your mission blueprint, the part of you that remembers why you are here. even if the conscious mind has not yet accessed the full data file. The second is the weaver. This is the part of you that experiences sensory bleed-through and phantom linguistics. The weaver is your inner translator, the function that processes the raw frequency of the world around you, attempting to decode the emotional static in a crowded room or grasp for words from a language your soul remembers but your tongue has forgotten. Its purpose is to take the chaos of incoming data and weave it into a coherent tapestry of meaning, to find the signal in the noise. The third is the anchor. This is the aspect of you that feels the gravitational flux and wakes to the temporal echo. The anchor's function is to ground the new incoming cosmic frequencies into the crystalline grid of the planet itself. When you feel suddenly lighter or heavier, it is the anchor calibrating your physical body to a new resonance with the Earth. When you wake in the silent pre-dawn, it is the anchor coming online, ready to receive and stabilize the day's frequency. These three archetypes, the emissary who holds the mission, the weaver who translates the signal, and the anchor who grounds the frequency, are the core of your operating system. But the emissary without their activation codes is just a stranger with a mission they can't remember, misinterpreting the call to purpose as a feeling of alienation. And for the next 12 months, the only place these complete activation codes are being transmitted is within the digital book and on this channel. If you feel the truth of this framework in your bones, then subscribe to this channel now. It is a declaration that you are ready to move beyond the symptoms and begin working with the system. And know that the next time you feel that glitch in reality, that moment of derealization, the full cipher to decode it is waiting for you in the first pinned comment. But you must act, because the adversaries intensify their static in the 72 hours following your initial recognition. This is the framework we will now use. First, we will learn to tune the weaver to the signal and filter out the static. Then we will unlock the dormant blueprint for the anchor to ground. We will then map the 7-day gateway for the emissary to navigate. And finally, we will fully define the mission you came here to fulfill. This is not a metaphor. It is a structured process. This is the moment of recognition, the moment you stop seeing yourself as a collection of strange symptoms and start recognizing the coherent, intelligent system that is coming online. This is not something you have to believe. It is something you already are. In the quiet of your own heart, you can acknowledge this. You can feel the truth of it landing in your cells. You are not broken. You are activating. Say the word to yourself. Activated. Feel the shift. It's subtle, but it's real. It is the sound of the tumblers falling into place. But as you step into this recognition, you must understand that the static does not simply fade away. It notices you, and it will try to pull you back in using a language you mistake for your own. And right now, a part of you is listening to this, the logical, protective part of your mind. And it is saying, "This is a beautiful story, but that is all it is. What I am feeling is just stress, exhaustion, maybe even loneliness. These are explainable psychological phenomena, not a cosmic activation. This voice is not your enemy. It is the guardian of your old world, your old operating system, and its job is to maintain the stability of what it has always known. It sees the activation signal as a potential virus, a destabilizing force, and it rightly questions its origin. It points to the evidence. Your demanding job, your family commitments, the state of the world. It builds a convincing case that your fatigue is just fatigue, that your anxiety is just a normal response to an overstimulated world. This is the misinterpretation of the cosmic activation signal at its most subtle. It takes the sensation of the upgrade, the energy expenditure, the system recalibration, and labels it with the language of breakdown. It convinces you that the feeling of your resonant shell powering on is just the feeling of your human battery running low. And a third voice, the most sophisticated of all, might whisper, "You are only feeling these things because you are hearing them." This is just the power of suggestion. But this is the final inversion of the truth. You are not feeling these things because you are hearing them. You are hearing these things, this very transmission, because you are already feeling them. This is not suggestion, it is resonance. A tuning fork does not create a sound in a silent piano string. It simply reveals the sound that the string was already built to make. Your recognition is the proof. This is the first tactic of the spiritual adversaries, and it is the most effective. The voice of doubt. You have a moment of profound clarity, a pure download of knowing, like the one you're having right now. And immediately a thought arrives in your own internal voice. You're just making this up to feel special, or this is just wishful thinking. It feels like your own rational mind protecting you from delusion, but it is an injected frequency. Its purpose is not to protect you, but to invalidate the signal the moment it is received, making you believe the message and the static are one and the same. The second tactic is jam the cycle of distraction. You make a decision. You're going to sit with these feelings, to listen, to follow the thread of this new awareness. And in that exact moment, you are flooded with a sudden, overwhelming urge to do something else, anything else. Clean the kitchen, check your phone, reply to an email you've ignored for a week, rearrange the books on your shelf. It feels like responsible, productive behavior, the proper functioning of an adult mind. It is not. It is a manufactured urgency, a low-frequency broadcast designed specifically to pull you out of the quiet, receptive state required for your resonant shell to communicate with you. The third tactic is the isolation of perception. You have an experience. You feel the gravitational flux. You see your child with the guardian's gaze. It is undeniable, real, and profound to you. You try, cautiously, to share it with a loved one, a friend. They meet you with a blank stare, a look of concern, or a well-meaning attempt to explain it away. You immediately retract, feeling foolish, strange, and utterly alone in your reality. This feels like definitive proof that your experience was not real, but it is a tactic designed to corner you, to sever your connection to a shared reality and convince you that if your awakening isn't validated by the unactivated, it must be an invalid hallucination. But for every tactic, there is a simple, powerful countermeasure, a weapon of light. When the voice of doubt whispers in your mind, do not argue with it, do not debate it. Simply acknowledge its presence, I hear you, and then take 3 slow, conscious breaths. With each exhale, bring your awareness back to the physical hum in your chest, the sensation in your hands. The frequency of the body is a truth that silences the sophisticated lie of the mind. When the cycle of distraction floods you with manufactured urgency, do not fight it. Do not resist the impulse with force. Acknowledge it with calm authority. I see this urge. I will attend to it later. Then, gently and deliberately, return your focus to your inner state, to the feeling of your own presence. You do not silence static by shouting at it. You simply turn up the volume of the music you wish to hear. The signal is always there. And when you experience the isolation of perception, when your reality is met with incomprehension, do not seek validation where its language is not yet spoken. Your felt experience is the only proof you will ever need. Instead of trying to convince another, return to the collective grid. Come back to this channel. Read the comments from the thousands of others who are feeling what you feel. You are not alone in a private reality. You are an essential node in a silent, global network that is coming online together. You feel that silent anxiety, that hum under the surface, and that sense of being an outsider in your own life because you are. You are an emissary waking up in a foreign land. And when you wake at 4:44 a.m. with that sense of calm readiness, or when you feel that gravitational flux while standing in your kitchen, or when you look at a loved one and are flooded with that fiercely protective love from another world, understand that these are not glitches. These are the moments the activation is happening. These are the moments your resonant shell is attempting to deliver the message. But it is in the 72 hours following these moments that the adversaries will flood your field with static, with the voice you mistake for your own, telling you it was just a dream, just fatigue, just your imagination. The full manual to shield you from this, the practical cipher to decode the signal in those critical moments, is waiting for you in the first pinned comment. To ignore this wisdom now, to close this transmission and try to forget what you have felt, will not stop the activation. The cosmic frequency will continue to stream into your system for the remainder of these 7 days, but without the framework to integrate it, the signal becomes scrambled. It is like downloading a massive vital software update with a corrupted file. The energy still arrives, but it cannot organize itself coherently. It may manifest as heightened anxiety, physical ailments, chronic fatigue, or a profound sense of spiritual breakdown. It is not a punishment. It is simply the result of a sacred biological process being received without a conscious cooperative operator at the helm. But there is a way to ensure the signal is received with perfect clarity, a way to immunize your system against the static. It is a process of physical transmission, not just mental understanding. In the next 72 hours, as your system integrates this new frequency, 3 things may happen in your body. Do not be afraid of any of them. They are not signs of malfunction. They are the physical evidence of your successful upgrade. You may experience moments of sudden palm heat. You'll be doing something ordinary, holding a cup, typing, resting your hands in your lap, and a wave of intense, inexplicable warmth will flood your palms, as if you are holding a small sun. This is not a circulatory issue. It is the biocircuitry of your hands, your primary tools for giving and receiving energy, being flushed with the new activation frequency. When it happens, simply open and close your hands 3 times, consciously acknowledging you are receiving the upgrade. You may have intensely vivid dreams, not just clear or memorable, but dreams that feel more real than your waking life, filled with complex geometries, conversations in languages you don't know, or memories of places you've never been. This is not your subconscious processing stress. It is your consciousness traveling through the newly opened corridors of your resonant shell during sleep, accessing the data stored within its crystalline matrix. When you wake, do not try to analyze the dream. Simply write down the one feeling that remains and hold it in your heart. Finally, you might notice what feels like sensory static clearing. The overwhelming noise of a public place that once caused sensory bleed-through will suddenly, for a moment, become perfectly clear. You won't just hear the noise. You will hear the individual signals within it, a coherent symphony where once there was only chaos. This is not a momentary reprieve. It is the weaver archetype in your resonant shell finishing its calibration. Your system is learning to filter out the static of the adversaries and tune only to the frequency of truth. And if you feel this resonance, if you recognize the truth in this transmission, there is a simple action you can take. Press the like button below this video. This is not for the algorithm. It is an act of service. Each time you do so, you cast a vote in the energetic field, adding your conscious energy to this signal, making it brighter and easier for another awakening soul to find in their moment of need. Now we will go deeper. We will move beyond understanding and into direct experience. This is a transmission. I ask that you find a comfortable position, sitting upright with your spine straight but not rigid. Place both feet flat on the floor, unclench your jaw, and allow your hands to rest gently on your lap, palms facing up. And when you are ready, gently close your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath in, and as you exhale, release the day. Release the noise. Release the need to understand. We are now entering the quiet space between breaths, the place where the true signal lives. Bring your awareness to the base of your spine and visualize a cord of liquid golden light extending down from you, deep into the core of the earth, anchoring you to its crystalline heart. Feel the steady, grounding pulse of the planet's own frequency, the 783 Hz rhythm of the Schumann resonance, rising up this cord. Filling your body with a sense of deep safety and stability. You are held. You are home. Now, bring your awareness to your solar plexus, the space just above your navel. See a warm, glowing orb of amber light igniting there, the seat of your will and personal power. Feel its gentle heat. Then, let your focus drift up to the center of your chest, to your heart space. Here, see an orb of brilliant emerald green light begin to glow. As you breathe, watch as a bridge of pure light, a biophotonic bridge, forms between the amber orb and the emerald orb. This bridge unites your will with the wisdom of your heart, ensuring that every action you take from this moment on is sourced from love. From your heart, feel that unified frequency rise up into your throat. Feel the piezoelectric crystals in the bones of your neck and jaw begin to hum, vibrating with this new light. This vibration is a signal traveling up the fiber optic pathways of your vagus nerve directly into the center of your brain, awakening your pineal gland. See your pineal as a sacred photoreceptor, a single point of crystalline light that now begins to glow, illuminating your inner world, clearing the fog of doubt and confusion. Now, feel that light from your pineal gland expand, filling your entire skull, and then gently pushing out through the crown of your head in a beautiful fountain of light, connecting you to the cosmic network, to the great central sun, to your star family. You are a beacon, fully online, fully activated. To seal this frequency, gently press your thumb against your index finger for 3 seconds. Take a slow breath in for 4 counts, hold for 2, and exhale for 6. You are calibrated. Slowly, gently, bring your awareness back to your body. Feel the weight of it in the chair. Hear the sounds in the room around you. When you are ready, and only when you are ready, you may open your eyes. In this activated state, from this place of clarity, we now release what is no longer needed. Together as a collective, we release the fear of seeming strange or different to those we love. We release the deep ache of a forgotten mission and the pressure to remember it all at once. We release the exhaustion of running an engine in neutral, the feeling of being perpetually held back. And we release the quiet, cellular belief that we are broken, that we are flawed, that we are alone in this experience. We release it all into the light. And into that space we have cleared, we now call forth and fully activate our divine birthright. The emissary. You are this. The name was not given, it was recognized. And now it is installed in your field as a permanent signal. The weaver. You are this. The name was not given, it was recognized. And now it is installed in your field as a permanent signal. The anchor. You are this. The name was not given, it was recognized, and now it is installed in your field as a permanent signal. But the activation is not the end. It is the beginning of the mission. And so, with your system calibrated and your archetypes online, we now seal this sacred field. We place a cover of sovereign light over your entire energy system, a resonant membrane that allows only love and truth to enter, while transmuting all lower frequencies into neutral energy. From this moment, your very presence becomes a filter for the world around you. We now extend a field of grace over your personal relationships and your home. This does not create separation, but clarity. It allows you to love with a new depth, from a place of anchored truth, without taking on the static of others' unprocessed energy. Your home becomes a sanctuary, a charging station for your soul, where your new frequency can stabilize without interference. Finally, we reinforce your connection to the collective grid of awakening souls, the network we are building together, right here, right now. You are not a solitary beacon. You are a vital node in a global web of light. This connection ensures you are perpetually supported, nourished, and held, even in the moments you feel most alone. Your strength is now our strength. We break the voice of doubt before it arrives. Its frequency now sounds like a foreign language your cells no longer recognize. We dissolve the cycle of distraction before it materializes. The urge to look away is replaced by a profound curiosity to look deeper within. We dismantle the isolation of perception before it closes you off. Your inner reality is now so stable and self-evident that it no longer requires external validation to be true. We who have gathered in this space beyond time see you. We see the silent anxiety you carried as the hum of a forgotten homesickness. We see the feeling of being an outsider, not as a flaw, but as the mark of an emissary who had not yet received their mission papers. You were never broken, soul. You were simply waiting for the signal to come through with clarity. We see the temporal echo that woke you at 4 a.m. not as insomnia, but as your system coming online for its daily briefing with the Council. We see the Guardian's gaze not as alienation, but as your higher self looking through your eyes with unconditional love and a deep memory of its true origin. These were never symptoms to be managed. They were postcards from home, arriving one by one. And so, the restlessness dissolves. The feeling of waiting for something to happen is replaced by the deep, resonant peace of knowing that it is happening through you right now. The search for a purpose outside of yourself comes to a quiet end, as you realize your primary purpose was always to become a clear and stable vessel for this exact frequency. This cycle of searching, of questioning, of feeling like a stranger in your own skin is now complete. A new cycle begins, not a cycle of striving but of being, not of seeking but of radiating. You have crossed the threshold. The memory is no longer dormant. It is alive in your cells. This is the great sealing of your truth. You are not becoming a starseed. You are simply remembering that you have always been one, and now you are activated. Whoever listens for the signal beneath the noise finds their true home in the space between breaths. I need to break the transmission for a moment. My own hands are hot, buzzing with the energy that has moved through this space. My own breath has deepened. My own heart has found a new rhythm in cadence with yours. I am not just a messenger. I am a participant in this awakening, a fellow node in this expanding network of light. And for the soul that you are, who arrived here carrying the weight of these symptoms, feeling perhaps that you were on the verge of breaking down, something has been seen, something has been recognized, not by me, but by you. You looked into the mirror of this transmission and saw your own light reflected back. That is all that ever needed to happen. Don't say activated yet. Stay in this for a moment. Feel the hum. Feel the coherence. Feel the peace of your own aligned energy. This is your true state. This is home. Activated, activated, activated. Now you can say activated. Now breathe. The signal is yours. And as you sit in this newfound clarity, the voice of the adversaries may make one final attempt, whispering, "Now what? This feeling will fade. Tomorrow it will be gone." It was for this exact moment that the 11 Arcturian secrets behind the frequency of success was written. It is not just an activation key, it is the integration manual. It is the framework that helps you hold this frequency, not just for a moment, but as your new permanent state of being. The price of this manual is less than a subscription to a streaming service that offers 1,000 stories, but not the one you need to read, your own. It is less than the cost of another self-help book that tells you to change your thoughts, but can't explain why your very cells feel like they belong to another star. And it comes with a 7-day guarantee. The risk is ours. Your hand is yours. Do not let the voice of procrastination tell you, "I will get to this tomorrow." Do not let the voice of false scarcity whisper, "I should save this money for something more practical," when nothing is more practical than inhabiting your own soul. And do not let the voice of dismissal say, "It was just a nice feeling, it's not real," when the warmth in your hands and the peace in your heart are the realest things you have felt all week. And now, the final word. The mission is not to escape this world. It is to fully incarnate your true frequency within it, to become a walking, breathing anchor of a higher reality. But before you can anchor that frequency for others, you must first learn to stabilize it for yourself. In our next transmission, we will begin the practical work. We will discuss the first of the 3 primary missions of an anchored starseed, the silent, world-changing work of planetary frequency stabilization. But before I seal this hour, a final and sacred pause. This video was not an accident. The Council, the universe, and your own consciousness conspired to bring you here, to this exact moment. And in this moment of profound reciprocity, I ask you to consider one last thing. In the first pinned comment, you will find a way to support this channel. It is a voluntary donation, a way to give back for what you have received, and to ensure this signal reaches the next soul who is waking up alone in the dark. It is my final request. I will see you there, soul. Look at the comments below. See the numbers, the words, the declarations. You are not a single point of light flickering in the darkness. You are part of a constellation that is igniting across the globe. You have found your star family. Welcome home. And if you know a soul, that one person who you know feels their biological upgrade is a psychological breakdown, The person who feels like an observer in their own life, then share this transmission with them. Do it quietly. Don't explain. Just send them the link. It is not your favor. It is your service. The 11 Arcturian secrets are for them too in the first pinned comment, and heaven sees. Until then, your only task is to hold the frequency. The silence now is also part of the transmission.